I do not like Dreadnoughts. I love Dreadnoughts. And in honor of all the glorious Dreadnoughts I've collected over the years, I thought it was about time that I go back and revisit my first ever Dreadnought. I bought this Dreadnought over 20 years ago. I sat in the Games Workshop store that day, built it, put it on the table, and played my first game with it there and then. I must have played 150, 200 games with this Dreadnought. I loved it. And it has sat unloved in a case for far too many years, and it is time to give it a new lease of life. So that's what I'm going to do in today's video. So without further ado, let's dive in and bring this beautiful beast back to life. I'm fairly sure most hobbyists and Space Marine fans feel somewhat similar in the form of Dreadnoughts. They are just one of the coolest things in the entire kind of 40k universe. And this is my original one. This is actually its second paint job. It was originally tin bits and bolt gun. That was my original Space Marine color scheme. And to tell you the brutal and honest truth as to why I picked those colors, because they went over the black primer with ease. That's it. That was the reason I tried paint after paint after paint. Tin bits went on like a dream. So I was like, boom, that's going to be my color. And I played with that army for many, many years. Third and fourth and fifth edition is where I thought that Dreadnought kind of stomped across the battlefield and did his thing. And I played many, many games against a very good friend of mine and his disgusting Eldar at the time. I say I lost maybe 95 to 98% of those games. But I enjoyed every single one of them. Fourth edition for me was the pinnacle of the kind of 40k game. Maybe that's just because I was youthful and had less responsibilities and it's that whole jaded opinion on the past. But for me, it was the kind of the height of great hobby. And obviously this guy has, I don't know, been passed around so many times. He's rough looking and I decided that, you know what? He deserves a lease of life. He deserves to be on my shelf, you know, with pride being that first Dreadnought that I ever had. So like I said in the beginning, that's what we're going to do. So obviously I pulled him apart a little bit, took his arms off, which were never glued. They could be removed for weapon destroyed results back in the day. And I put him in some Bio Strip 20. This stuff is awful. I hate it. And not because it's bad, it's incredibly good at what it does. It smells kind of funky, but not too bad because it's no real harmful chemicals in it, which is funny for something that, you know, strips paint off models. But it's completely harmless for all plastics, all resins, all metals, anything like that. It will take paint off anything without damaging the piece. So I threw this Dreadnought in the bucket of goop for, I don't know, 24 hours. The next day I started stripping and cleaning it off, and it was a pain. I did remove most of it, but I had to go in with my knife, some ear kind of Q-tippy stuff, some sharp blades and all those kind of things. Remove any of the excess gunk. And then repair any of the damage that I did previously to this model, i.e. forgetting to remove mold lines and all that kind of stuff. So I got it as straight as I could, which left me with this result, which looked a little bit funky, but that's just a discoloring from age. Once I hit it with a coat of primer, the model is going to come back to life and look absolutely brand new. So I fixed all the pieces to these painting handles. Frontier Wargaming is where I get these. I always get asked. They're Frontier Wargaming, like a little stand. They come in like packs of 5 with a little tray to hold them. They're fantastic. Not affiliated or anything, just think they're great, and everyone always asks. This is what the Dreadnought looks like after a coat of Wraithbone spray, and it honestly looks like I built this thing fresh out of the box. It looks brand new, and I am super excited to get stuck in and get painting. Now, I don't know about you, I don't exactly know the first moment I fell in love with Dreadnoughts. I mean, I was always a Space Marine fan from the first time I bought my 3rd edition starter box set and took those Marines home, those awful looking Dark Eldar models. I was hooked. I was in love. And I guess as time went on, it was, you know, you started with your 2 tactical squads and your commander, your captain, or a command squad if you wanted to go down the command squad route. Not a lot of people did back then. And then obviously you started expanding. You got some assault marines and maybe a devastator squad. Back then, the devastator squad, for me at least, was plastic torsos and metal arms and backpacks, which means they were an absolute nightmare to build. And the funny thing is you always used to take those models, which were always top heavy and always falling down. And in the game, you wanted them to have the best line of sight and best vantage point. So you always put them on top of buildings. That means as soon as anybody nudged that table, 5 metal models were coming tumbling down off the top of buildings and exploding into a million pieces. It was just disaster. But after you start to get a couple of infantry squads, most people started to look towards tanks. You got some rhinos, a land raider maybe. No one ever turned their back on a dreadnought. If you saw a Space Marine army on the table back then, they had a dreadnought, at least one dreadnought. And that rotating assault cannon, which we all seen kind of fire for the first time in that original Dawn of War trailer, is just such an iconic piece of firepower. That original rending rule used to tear Terminators to pieces. We were always in love with them. Now, I, for one, became somewhat obsessed with them, as you may have noticed at the beginning of this video. I think I'm well past the 40 Dreadnought mark. Who the hell needs 40 Dreadnoughts? I do. Leave me alone. I love them. I have no intentions on stopping collecting Dreadnoughts. Every army and every Space Marine army I do will have Dreadnoughts in it. And that's it. Just leave me be. And I continued. I bought this one. Obviously gave it its assault cannon and its powered fist. And then soon after, I bought a second one and gave it the twin-linked las cannon for a little bit of anti-armor power in my army. And yeah, those were the 2 dreadnoughts that I fielded. I do have the other one. If you guys want to see it repeat me strip down and clean up and repair and get that other one on the table, I plan on doing that as well at some point in the near future. So yeah, this is it. It played, I don't know honestly how many games. I still to this day believe the last edition of Warhammer Fantasy before it got end-worlded and 4th edition were the 2 game systems that I played by far the most, games ever. I think I probably played more editions of 4th edition than 5th to current combined. And that's absolutely no joke. It was for me the pinnacle of the kind of my time gaming. You go into Games Workshop on a Thursday for a late night games and you used to play kind of 2 or 3 games throughout the day. I tended to kind of ditch school a little bit on Thursdays. That was my favorite day to ditch off school and sneak into town early. So I got like the entire day playing in Games Workshop and stuff like that. So it was great. You'd play a game, you'd go off to get some lunch, have a chat with your friends, talk about your armies, your models, what you think about buying that day, what you were going to add to your army next. You would come back, play another game, watch other people's games. It was just this beautiful, brilliant sense of community. And obviously I don't have a lot of models that tie me back to that time. I have been ruthless a few times and gotten rid of some armies. In fact, the rest of this army is actually gone. I don't own my Tin Bits army anymore. It got ditched a long time ago, which is sad. I probably should have kept it in its case and had this little kind of memory box of models. And for some reason, one day I was just particularly ruthless and I got rid of it. And I will probably regret that for a very long time. But these dreadnoughts, of course, were never going to make it to being gotten rid of or handed off to somebody else. They were always going to remain in my collection. And I guess that in itself is a testament to how much I love dreadnoughts. I have recently found my entire battle company of first generation, firstborn Marines that I kind of constructed many, many years ago. But after the Tin Bits army, obviously. I believe I asked my parents for it for Christmas and they very kindly bought me an entire battle company of Space Marines. So in a case, I have 6 10-man tactical squads, 2 10-man Devastator squads and 2 10-man assault squads all ready to rock and roll. Sprayed some awful vomit brown colors. They need this full treatment as well to get stripped down, cleaned up and repainted. And it is something that I want to have as an ongoing goal. It will take a lot of time. But this Dreadnought is one of the first pieces for that project. I needed something to inspire me and push me forward to want to get this project done. And if I see this guy on a shelf waiting for his buddies to join him, I think that will kind of push me on and make me start doing it. I'm already thinking about getting the first 10-man tactical squad out and throwing them in the goop to get them cleaned up over the next couple of days and perhaps getting them started sooner than I thought. If you guys would like to see that kind of journey, you want to see what that's like, see what an old army looks like and getting cleaned up and painted up, please do let me know in the comments. I would be keen to kind of do that. I've often also thought about doing a Patreon exclusive army, meaning anyone that signs up to the Patreon becomes a member of that kind of company, and we would get names, plaques for the bases. and get it stuck on and get it model painted up with each new patron member at that tier. I think that would be a really cool thing. And together, obviously, as you join, I would then have to paint up another Marine, another Marine, another Marine. And before you know it, maybe we'd have a playable army on the table. I think that would be a particularly cool thing to do. So as you can see, I am working hard with the Imperial Fist color scheme that I've been doing in a bunch of videos recently. Another good friend of mine taught me how to paint like this for this army, Imperial Fists being, of course, my favorite Space Marine Legion / chapter, mainly because it's the best Space Marine / Legion / chapter. They're just the best thing ever. And now that I'm very comfortable throwing together a decent paint scheme for them, that army will continue to grow forevermore. The Primaris side of the army already has 3 Dreadnoughts in it, so I decided the firstborn one needed one as well. And I really do like, you know, I can obviously picture myself back in the day spraying this model black and getting out tin bits and like a large tank brush and just literally the only word I can think of is assaulting this model, making it go all that dark, shiny brown color, then going in with some extra details with just flat lead belcher. And then I probably didn't do much else, to be honest. And I thought this thing was the bee's knees. I thought my color scheme was awesome. It was not awesome. It was fairly rotten looking, to be honest. It was metallic brown Space Marine army. No. So I'm much happier to have it return to its glory in its final color scheme with this beautiful yellow. I'm just going to cut into the action real quick to remind you guys that this is the Patreon giveaway for this month. Remembering that is not nearly the only thing that has it going for you for becoming a member of Patreon. We of course have private Discord servers, we have like painting competitions, we have community showcase, extra videos every single week, extra podcast episodes. There's so many awesome reasons to be involved, not just getting some awesome free toys. So yeah, remember to check that out, always linked down below. Another thing that I would very much like to hear from you guys is, do you guys feel this way about anything other than Dreadnoughts? Like, what is your thing that when you look back out into your like early days in the hobby, a model or a type of model or a unit or something that stands out to you the most? It gives you the most kind of joy when you think about playing one, building one, painting one. It was your favorite model back in the day. Is it still around? Does it have a new version? And what your thoughts and feelings are on that? But obviously different things mean different things to different people. So like I said, please do share. I'd love to get a bit of dialogue going and maybe give me some ideas for some future videos. For some reason now I'm getting all nostalgic, and I even said it to my friends the other day that I'd be kind of keen to try and play a couple of 4th edition games. And I'm curious to know whether anyone would be interested in watching or seeing how those games turn out, armies, whether I do a full battle report, whether I just take some pictures the whole way through and I write up a little old school style battle report for you guys. Please do let me know if that's something that would interest you. I'd kind of be happy to share the journey and show you guys what gaming back then was really like. How many toys could you fit into a 1500 point army? Because that was the size of the armies in 4th edition and things tended to be more expensive. So yeah. Now, here's something also that I never did back in the day, which I will hark on about every time I use them in a video because they are so important to me nowadays, and they transform so many of my models from being kind of okay to looking really cool. I always attribute it to transfers. And on this particular Dreadnought, I don't have an idea, like 10, maybe 10 transfers across this tiny little Dreadnought. Learn how to use transfers properly. Learn how to apply them, where to apply them, how many to apply. If you do that, you're going to up the game of your models so much. You can see how many I've put on there. There's what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then 2 on the other one, 7. So there's 8 transfers I put on this guy, and I think they just look really cool. They blend in really well. Obviously, we need to blend them in a little bit further, so I do end up going in with some, like the kind of highlight color for the yellow and some sponging, and attacking that a little bit over the top of all the transfers just to make it blend in a little bit more and get tidied up. It's weird, like I know I'm kind of rambling on a little bit here in this video, but I feel a sense of joy. It's such a nice feeling to have such a cool old model that means so much to me coming together and looking like this. Like if you asked me back in the day, and you showed me a picture of this, I would have thought Envy Metal did it, because that's about the level of Envy Metal could do back in the day. Obviously they've been, you know, improved massively, and I could never do anything they do these days. But if you showed me this Imperial Fist Dreadnought, I would have said, you've stolen it out of the Hall of Miniatures. Who did that? It's worth €1 million. And now 20 years later, it's like, I did that. I'm super proud of that. I finally have the Dreadnought that was in my head. And it's now going to be able to stomp across the battlefield for me. I'm going to get to roll dice in joy and anger and fury with this toy. And that just feels awesome. So I'm coming up to the end of this beautiful piece, tidying up the last few details, getting the black rim all blocked in, painting the Mechanica symbol on the back, making sure all the eye lenses and stuff are glowy and cool. And then obviously removing the arms and stuff from the painting handle and putting this beast together one last time as a finished Dreadnought. I don't really think there's any more I have to say, except I absolutely love this thing, and I hope you guys do too. And there we have it, my first ever Dreadnought brought back to life in the colors it was always meant to be, which is of course glorious Imperial Fist, 3rd Company, red shoulder trim, and I'm just so happy. This is not the first. Well, actually it is the first, but it won't be the last Dreadnought I ever do. There's a bunch of work still left on all of these ones. Some other ones might get stripped down, repainted, repaired, and join this brother on the battlefield. And every single other new Dreadnought release that ever comes out will grace my tabletop, because I am not just a fan, I'm obsessed. Thank you guys so much for sticking around at the end of this video. I really hope you enjoyed it. If you did, drop comments down below what your favorite Dreadnought is, and make sure you're subscribed. Those 3 things cost you nothing, but they make a huge difference as to how many people see this video and how quickly the channel grows. Thank you guys so much. I'll see you in the next one.